It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha. Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone. Brouhaha time. Marshall Wood, Dale McKee. Chapter whatever this is, 399 and 63. You're showing me a number there, Dale. Why don't you just read it to me on the air? Here. No, don't read that number. I can't talk and take that. We'll get that in a minute. Okay. What's going on?
Well, we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend.
Had the Heisman.
The Heisman, had the Army-Navy game. That's always a great game.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what was better, Mendoza's speech or the guy from Vanderbilt's speech. Which one did you like the best?
I thought the quality of the person was the Indiana guy. I think he really appreciated the journey. It's almost like the guy from Vanderbilt, who I like watching play. He just feels like that he's not been done right. He's gonna
have a long life.
Yeah, well, there's no difference than him and Trinidad Chambliss. I don't think Trinidad would have got up there and did anything like that.
No, he wouldn't have.
No,
a guy embraces that. I don't know, that mentality.
Sure.
That's the way he plays.
Yeah.
I mean.
Sure. Well, that's what makes him a good player.
Yeah.
But he was the first team All-SEC quarterback.
Yeah.
And Chambliss was second. I think Chambliss finished 8th in the Heisman voting, which is pretty good. He got two first place votes, and he also Chambliss did. He got two first place votes. Came in 8th, but he was also named the SEC Newcomer of the Year. And, of course, he was the second-team quarterback on the offense for the SEC. So I think he got a lot of good awards.
Do you vote?
No, I don't vote on that. That's a coach's vote.
Oh, the Heisman is?
No.
I'm talking about, do you vote for the Heisman?
No, I think I don't know if he's still doing it or not. At one time, you have to work for a full time for a certain agency, like a TV station or
like WABO.
Yeah, and so I don't know how they pick them or anything. I've known people that's actually picked, were able to vote. I want to say one of the guys at Tupelo might have voted last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, how would you have voted for Heisman? Who would you have voted for? Just the one. Who would you not just out of all the ones that were presented? Mm-hmm. Would you have voted for Heisman Mendoza? How you like the way I chunked that in there, Heisman Mendoza?
I really like the Notre Dame running back. I really like him.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he's going to, out of all those guys up there, those 4 guys up there, I really think that he's going to have the best NFL career. Which has nothing to do with the Heisman. Heisman's based on your quality of work and the college ranks.
Yeah.
But I really think that I like him. He's a good person. Yeah. Most of those kids were pretty good people. I know the Vanderbilt quarterback's a little rough around the edges, but that's what makes him what he is.
Yeah, I dig him. I love the way he plays, man.
Yeah.
I love the way he plays. So we got the Heisman. We got the playoffs starting.
Do we?
Yeah. Don't they start by the time we come on here next week? We've had some games already had some playoff games. Right?
Well, we had 2 bowls. So, I'm talking
about bowls. I'm talking about playoffs.
I know, but we had 2 bowls Saturday, 6 days after the season ended. So that was surprising.
All righty, let's do this. We may not. Well, we could do this with our guests, but okay, who you like? Who's going to win? James Madison. We're going to fill out your bracket. Who's going to win? Oregon or James Madison?
Oregon.
Okay, Dale says Oregon. Mm-hmm. All right, Alabama, Oklahoma.
I say Alabama.
Tulane, Ole Miss.
I'm
going to go ahead and write that one down.
I really believe, even though I want Ole Miss to win, I really believe that they will win. Okay. Now, it may not be 45-10 like it was the first time.
Miami over Texas A&M.
I'm going to go with A&M.
A&M? All righty. All right, we're going to see how you did. We're going to see how smart you are.
Oh, for next week?
For next week only. We're going to let you go week to week. We're not going to stretch you out over the whole thing. Good. Well, let's just do this. If you had to pick one right now, that was going to win? Who do you think is going to be the last man standing? Last team standing? Who do you think's going to win?
I haven't decided that, but I really believe it's going to be between Georgia and probably Indiana.
Okay.
Just based on the brackets, you know.
Yeah.
Those may not be the two best teams, but the way the brackets are set up and everything like that, I would probably go with Georgia and Indiana, which means Georgia would beat Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl.
Hush your mouth.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
No, I don't either, but just you know.
We don't know what's going to happen with the new coaching staff and everything.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. You just didn't know. You don't know how much the coaches that came back are really buying into it.
Yeah.
You know, is it?
I'll tell you who will know.
Who is that?
The players will know.
Well, now I've got a friend that lives in Oxford, folks, and I'm just going to give you a tip, okay?
Tip coming up, a Dale tip. Better tune in.
Kiffin was in town over the weekend. I don't know if he's still there or not, but he went to his yoga exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came back for yoga.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't have a clue.
I'm just telling you, okay?
Why would he be? Why do you think? I mean, you got an idea.
Well, he's probably trying to get some stuff out of his house or something. You know, he's got a big old house up there, and you know, he's put it on a market for a certain thing, which is double what he paid for it. And what he doesn't get out of it, according to that, LSU's going to have to pay.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, LSU's going to be paying him every day. He's going to come up with something else.
Yeah.
Before it's over, he's going to get that $100 million.
Well, Dale, who you got for our guest tonight?
We're going to go with old Hunter Dawkins again.
Old Hunter, man, the Gazebo Gazette.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's our MVP when it comes to guests.
Well, he's pitch hitting for us, and we really appreciated. Our other guest was a little under the weather, and so I'm glad he's pitching in for us tonight.
All righty. Well, let's take a break to hear from our sponsors, and then Dale and I will be back with tonight's guest, Hunter Dawkins of the Gazebo Gazette, right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Hunter. Hunter, we really appreciate you coming on the show today, and we're just trying to get your expertise.
He doesn't know what he dropped your expertise in the bucket. What's wrong with him?
I know. I'm waiting to hear what's happening, but
he's multitasking is what he's doing. I tell you, he's multitasking. Are you excited about the time of season we're in?
I am definitely next to October. As far as the sporting world, this is a big time for everybody.
If you can't find something to watch during the Christmas holidays, you're an idiot.
So, and it's grateful that all three of our football teams here, our big three major teams, are all playing. They're bowling this year. So.
Boy, I tell you what, we need to get Dale doing some research, find how often that happens, because I don't think that happens. You may know it already, Dale.
The last time that happened was in 2022.
I told you.
How do you know I'm correct?
Hey, because I believe
if I'd have said 1996, would you just want you?
I would believe in you. I would believe in you, and I believe in her. Anything you guys tell me, I'm gonna believe it.
Well, I read it the other day, to be honest with you. So
All right, I'm gonna shut up and let the pros at it.
Okay. Well, listen, we just appreciate you being on the show again. I hate that little deal there, but I was trying to text somebody who was trying to call me and repeatedly called me about 3 times. So anyway, when we're on the air, I like to be, I guess geared in or,
Geared in. That's a new term. You ever heard that? You ever heard that one, Hunter? Geared in or geared up?
I was saying.
So
the only thing I was thinking of competence, but that'll work. So.
All right. Well, listen. Tell us what your thoughts on, first of all, is on the playoff games this coming weekend, and we'll start with the Miami and Texas A&M game. How do you feel about that one?
Well, of course, Miami got in there on a little bit of of a problematic push especially from Notre Dame, but this is also when you have to table how are you to judge competition among the playoff committee. And of course, the playoff committee comes up with their own rules every year. But I like the fact of what they did by saying a head-to-head matchup with Notre Dame really mattered. And although the lack of ACC performance, I mean, not even playing in your own conference championship, there's got to be something. There's got to be some questions answered for that. But A&M deserved to be there, and we'll see what happens.
All right, what you think about Alabama and Oklahoma?
That's going to be a good matchup right there. I'm still, you can't really fault Alabama for playing in the SEC championship game, so that was one of the really reasons why. A 3-loss team probably didn't deserve to be in, but you can't fault somebody for playing in their own conference championship game. Oklahoma's kind of a mystery. They've looked really good all year, but I'm not exactly 100% sure that they even know who's on their team half the time. But I think it'll be great. It'll be a good football game in Norman.
Yes, definitely. All right. Of course, Oregon and James Madison. I'm assuming that Oregon's just a little too more powerful for James Madison. Am I correct on that?
Well, Oregon, of course, has always had this outline, big time performance. But then when they get in a lot of these games that are the big performance games, like that against Ohio State last year, things of such, they're kind of looking lost in charge. Now, they're an obviously more athletic, a better talented football team playing at home than James Madison. And James Madison doesn't probably, of all the teams that probably it's very questionable that they should be there, that'd be one of them. I'm not saying James Madison is a bad football team, but of course, the way they got there is a little bit odd. However, I think that this will be a pretty solid performance from Oregon to show that they're a real performance team. But don't be surprised by James Madison's defense. They're pretty solid.
Okay. All right. Now, I know Ole Miss won 45-10 against Tulane the first meeting, and this time they're favored like 17 points, I think I read. So how do you think that game's going to go? You think Ole Miss is going to pull it out?
Different coaches, different team. However, I like Pete Golding. I think the more consistency, the more continuity that he's having in with the roster, I think Ole Miss will take care of the game pretty early on. But not to say that Summerall doesn't have a few things up his sleeve. But I think overall, and because Ole Miss has the chip on their shoulder for playing this football game, I think that's more or less, if they can get to New Orleans next week, that's going to show, and I really think, personally, this is between you and me, Dale and Marshall, but I think their goal is, if we can beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl without Lane, that's a successful, almost at a national championship level team for us.
I love that.
Well, I hate to tell you, but that may not stay with us.
I know, but I'm just saying that's an overall performance that Ole Miss, I think, really is looking forward to. And that's a Keith Carter thing. That's him saying, you know what? This is why our team is better than our coach.
Dale won't know about the lane train rolling through down there.
Yeah, the old CSX, old school train down here at old Pastor Shan.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was a good report. The only thing that I was kind of disappointed in Ole Miss's slot, which, I know it's a 6 slot, but I was just looking at if they would have been the, number 7 slot, they've been playing Miami. But what I'm saying is I didn't want them to have a rematch with Tulane and Georgia back-to-back. I mean, that was my only thing about it. It wasn't anything else to do with that.
I think based on what the college football committee, I'm not saying that I like how they did it, but I'm saying that I think they wanted to see the Sugar Bowl matchup against Georgia. And I think that is definitely an important game, at least, because I think if Ole Miss can come back and play in that Sugar Bowl game and beat Georgia, I think that really shows the muscle of this team.
All right. Well, do you really think, and I've heard this in discussions lately, do you really think the ESPN is running college football?
No. I could see how the analogy of that could come forth, but I really, it's just not really capable of that. I mean, of course, they have the broadcast rights for a lot of the different scenarios, but, of course, in our part of the country, nobody really watches Big Ten football. But, of course, in the Midwest, Big Ten is Fox or whoever shoots the Big Ten games, at least. And that's a big-time deal up there.
What do you think about the Heisman Trophy? Were you satisfied with the selection?
I don't like the way Pavia reacted, but I do think that he should have gotten more of a look because, I'm not against the selection of Fernando because, by the way, I did have a Heisman vote as well, being a member of the FWAA. But the problem with that is that, you have to, with the Heisman committee, what you have to look at is if you take this guy off the team, what's their overall record going to be? And, of course, Indiana has all the way across the board through the whole team, good defense, good solid performance. If you take Pavia off of Vanderbilt, I don't even think they win 4 games. That's just between us. I really don't think they win 4 games. But with these other players, it's more or less of who's the most valuable player for their team, and that's my opinion on it. But I did put the Indiana quarterback as the second pick. So.
Well, see, you just led us into something I didn't realize. You're a Heisman voter. Let's talk about that a minute, Hunter, if you would. First of all, how does that happen? I mean, how do you become a Heisman voter? Let's talk about that first.
Well, a lot of it is based on the memberships that you have with organizations, because the Football Writers Association of America, they have a lineage with the Heisman Trust, and so as long as that is ongoing, and you're a member of that, and you're the primary member, which I obviously am the primary member of that, not anybody from my paper or so, because I am the sole owner of the paper.
Right.
But that being said, they generally do it that way based on not only FWAA, there's other organizations like AP, ESPN, different other organizations, but they usually send you the notice by around late October, like right around Halloween, like, hey, these are going to be the top 10 choices that we're going to make selections, and maybe every other week they'll add in some, add in not, and then you have to have it in, I believe, by late November or so, your selection. So.
Well, how long have you been doing that? I'm sorry, Dale.
No, go ahead.
How long have you been doing this?
This is my 3rd year. Yeah, because really I got involved with the FWAA when I started going to SEC Media Days 3 years ago. And yeah, in Dallas, that was really the first time I got to be a membership with that. And I had talked with the guys that were because they're out of Texas, I believe. I think it's somewhere in Irving, probably where the old Cowboy Stadium used to be, at least. But yeah, they were their affiliation, goes with the SEC Media Days and a lot of those things. And so I was very lucky to be able to become a member of theirs, and that's definitely a good a good portfolio platform, and you know it's great. It's an honorable thing. I'm very honored to be able to do that, and I take that vote very seriously.
I bet you do. How do you may have said this, I got sidetracked with something happening outside of what we're doing here a while ago, and you may have said this, but is the time that you vote, does everybody vote at the same time, and how do you actually cast the vote?
Well, it's all online platform,
Okay.
but that being said, I'm not exactly sure. Right when they introduce it, they give you the final list like the last week of November or so, and you have up until a timeline to send that in, pretty much. And it's just like an online format. So.
Well, you're my first. I don't know that I've ever met a Heisman voter before, so I'm gonna put you up to the top of my list there, huh?
There you go.
Hey, if you need to know anything, just let me know. I'll be glad to help you out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and of course, you know, I had a lot of odds with, you know, me being a Mississippi guy, that Trinidad Chambliss wasn't in the top 5.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, he was listed in the top 10, and of the, I think I voted for third place. I mean, one of his third place votes, that was from me. Because they give you a list of 10.
Yeah.
It's the top 10.
In our first segment, Marshall, asked me how you voted, and I told him they used to appoint somebody from Mississippi, like one voter, back in the 70s, and I didn't know how they did it now. But he asked me, well, who were you to vote for? And I said, well, really, I liked the Love kid from Notre Dame. I really liked him. And I might have voted for him for first, for sure. But I told him, too, that Chambliss was very well honored. The SEC gave Newcomer of the Year. He was second-team quarterback. And he also...
And he probably would have been first if Pavia wasn't there. I mean, he would have definitely been chosen as first.
I think that's just the Vandy quarterback's personality, which makes him... our preacher even talked to us about a week ago about what comes out of your mouth can really hurt you, And
tell me about it.
I don't think just looking at the NFL teams, you wonder, do we really want somebody like this on our team? I got two other questions for you. I know we're about to get close to the end of the show, but I saw something today that really disturbed me. The quarterback for the New York Giants, is Jackson Dart. He has been in the concussion tent 5 times this season in 10 games. That's disturbing to me. That he's not, that somehow he doesn't learn, or are the Giants, or they're gonna have to put a rope around that young man, and. So, I was just wondering, okay, so now my next question is, have the Saints found him a quarterback?
Well, okay. Well, and let me go off in a little bit. I'm not going to talk long about the Jackson Dart thing, but I'll go off with you a little bit. I heard a great conversation from Steve Young a few years ago where he talked about early on in his career. As you guys know, Hall of Famer Steve Young, that played for Tampa Bay and got his Hall of Fame, being a Super Bowl champion of the 49ers. Steve Young was really a running threat after he graduated from BYU, but he was overlooked because obviously that time in the NFL, as you know, football is a developing game. That was more of a pocket passer technique, whereas opposed now, but he learned just based on his conversation with Bill Walsh and George Seifert and things, how to make how to make the job more efficient. And I really think that just because you take the kid out of the country in Oxford, it's not going to change the way they play the football game. But I think if Dart is intelligent, and I think he is. I've talked with him, I've met with him a few times, and I do occasionally chat with him on Facebook. But, it's more or less on having to sit down and making the judgment call on how long do you want your career to last. And if you really see that you want to have a pretty solid career, you got to start having to take better decisions. But anyway, that's that. And the second question, I'm trying to remember, Dale. What was the second question?
It was, have the Saints found a quarterback?
Oh, with Tyler Shuck. Tyler's played. He's played a good. But you remember this, Dale, and I said this on this show, and also I've said it on other shows. Everybody wondered, well, what about the draft? Right before the draft, right after the draft, we drafted a quarterback. I said to every single person on that team, Kellen Moore drafted a quarterback because he saw something that he wanted from that kid. Now, granted, it may not be what everybody wanted, but it comes out that was the kind of kid that he wanted to have play for him. That draft pick, he doesn't make a draft like that unless he saw something that works in his system. And now I don't know how far, just because he's beaten a couple NFC South teams, that's not exactly the underlying factor of winning NFL football games. But he saw something in Tyler Shuck, and I think we'll see where that goes.
Well, you say that, but they beat the teams tied for first in their conference, so that's pretty good. And the other thing is that they beat the New York Giants early in the season. They got a chance to beat the Jets this week, so they're going to take on the two New York teams and that, and they're going to win a few more games than I thought they would. Yeah.
Once again, Dale, you're talking about two NFC South teams that are not necessarily playing their greatest football, and two New York teams who are definitely below 500.
Hey,
I'm not saying that's not a good perspective, but I'm saying though, you need to be able to get him to play against somebody with a little bit of panache on there.
Well, I know you say that, but I saw a Mississippi State fan the other day. He said if we'd had Ole Miss's schedule, we'd have won 7 ball games this year without any questions. And I said, we should have won 8 anyway. But I said, you should have won 8 with your schedule. So, Mississippi State's not that. But Mississippi State
went into a few overtimes with teams where they were ahead by about 21 points.
Yeah,
they probably should have won a few more games.
Sure.
But that's a little bit of a different subject, different day.
All right. Well, listen, we got about 1 minute left. But I know that you lost a basketball legend over the weekend from the Gulf Coast on Friday night. The USM basketball coach, Jay Ladner's dad, Larry, died. He was a legendary high school basketball coach. He went on to be a professor at Southern Miss and probably he probably mentored thousands of 1,000 high school basketball coaches in this state, or all coaches from everything. What was your thoughts about Coach Ladner?
Coach Larry was one of the, and as far as mentors go, he definitely was up there with me. It was so funny because he always called me Scotty, because one of his players at Picayune who became a coach was Scotty Hunter, and so it was funny, at least from that perspective. But Coach Larry and I had laughs all the time, and we talked a lot about coaching and a lot, because as you know, I not only did I play at Stanislaus under Jay, I also coached with Coach Ladner, and it was a really great. He was a great man. He did a lot of good things, and he's very well respected all the way across the board. And there's a lot of people that are sad because of what he taught them. Yeah. So.
Listen, Hunter, it's Marshall. We've run our course today and tonight, and we're out of time. Thank you so much for being with us, man, stepping up to the plate and helping us out. You do a great job. We appreciate you being with us today.
Marshall, I gratefully appreciate both of you guys, and we'll make sure that we're on board with Dale at least texting next time.
Well, I have to tell you now, it was somebody from Biloxi TV station. So, first 2 initials were AJ, but he's retired now. So AJ's trying to get on the show too.
I definitely will tell you. You definitely don't want to answer that call.
Well, listen, folks, hold on for us just a minute. We're going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors, and they'll be back to close out tonight's Brouhaha right after this commercial break. See you after the break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We had an interesting show today. We had people running up and down outside, and we had Hunter, and we had all kind of stuff, cats scratching on doors, and man, just madness around here. Mayhem.
Yeah, I got you.
Anything you want to say to the people out there?
No, I think Hunter said it, but I kept tickling. He kept saying it was between us.
On the air?
Yeah, on the air. I guess it may be. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I hope it wasn't nothing you didn't want everybody else to know, but hey, that's what we're all about. We may create a real brouhaha.
Yes, sir, babe.
That's what we're looking to do. But anyway, folks, thank y'all for being with us this week. Again, we want to give a special shout out to old Hunter. He's one of my favorite people, and he's a lot of fun to talk to. But
and he's a Heisman voter.
And he's a Heisman voter.
He's special now.
Yeah, so I'm going to start calling him and say, this is who you need to vote for. But anyway, y'all keep up with us during the week on our Facebook page at the Brouhaha, and all of our shows are cataloged for you on our YouTube channel for you to watch on demand at the Brouhaha. But for now, it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
We'll see you folks next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Del McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.